fastest show in sports.
Please to all the gods in college football and in sports, please let this be one of the final times that we have to go over this about Lane Kiffin. This is getting ponderous. Here we once again have people screaming and hollering about what a liar Lane Kiffin is. Oh my goodness, he's absolutely, without question, the single worst liar to ever inhabit college athletics, college football, sports in general, North America, the world, the galaxy, whatever. He's a liar. What did you expect? I mean, what are you, suffering from amnesia? Is this all of a sudden the only thing that people have to argue about? Of course he's a liar. He's human, and he's a college football coach. Colleges lie every single day. They lie about the money they're making. They lie about their players. They lie about their coaches. They lie to their players and to their coaches. They lie to the press. They lie to you. They are the biggest liars. Just like every sport does. Nobody tells you the truth. So everybody here being shocked that Lane Kiffin is a liar on his way out the door at Ole Miss, you really need to get some professional help, because this is just where it is. The bigger issue is not necessarily Lane Kiffin. It is a whole lot more in this sport. But for giggles and grins, let's discuss this lying issue about Lane Kiffin. What a terrible guy he is. Because Lane Kiffin likes to tell everybody, as he took the job at LSU, how much he talked to his players. My players wanted me to stay. The players thought, Coach, if you can stay, let's make sure you're here through the playoffs and maybe even a shot at the national championship. Kiffin is very obvious about it. Then again, so are the players. Because while Kiffin is out there putting on social media things like the times I spent with my family and all the 6 seasons I had and all the wonderful things, he basically says the team wanted him to stay and coach the games, even though he was hired at LSU. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, quadrupeds and bipeds of all type, bullshit. I say bullshit, and we can prove it right here. Here's the players themselves. The players are the ones who are doing it. Here's Bryson Sanders. Despite the team asking me to keep coaching, that's the words that Kiffin used. Sanders comes back and says, I think everyone that was in that room would disagree. He's not the only one. Here's another player who again said that was not the message you said in the meeting room. Everybody that was in there can vouch on this. Kiffin's caught. He's a liar. You expected something else? Honestly. And LSU, congratulations. You now have one of the most recent biggest liars in college football as your head coach. What do you think, he's going to tell you the truth from now on? He's going to give you all the facts? But then again, LSU won't give him all the facts either. Kiffin's a liar. But then again, he's been made to be a liar by what college football has become. College football is completely effed up at this point because there's no one running the show. I mean, at least when the NCAA ran the show, you had some form, some semblance of management, of leadership that was involved. NCAA doesn't run anything anymore. They're basically out of it. It's all these conferences that are running it. So you have conference presidents who are the ones basically making the decisions. And you've got one making this decision, one making this decision, one making this. Oh, let's put everybody together. And let's get all the conferences on the same page. Are you kidding? You couldn't get these people to decide what to have for lunch. And now you want them to take care of a multi-billion-dollar industry all at once? It's not going to happen. College football has a number of things that they have to deal with. Here's a starting point. First and foremost, whoever is in charge of college football these days needs to make it an absolute, hardcore, dead stop, no fooling rule that no coach can negotiate during the season. None. No assistants. No head coaches. You cannot negotiate during the season. And the season is from a starting point to when that team holds its last game. And if that last game is a national championship game, you can't do crap until that point. You have to hold them down. That's the problem we're into here. LSU cherry-picked because Lane Kiffin opened the door. Kiffin said, okay, I'm listening. Come on. Bring your money. Bring your contracts. Florida came in. Ole Miss came in. LSU came in. Who knows who else came in? But he basically made it clear, because all Kiffin would have had to do at one time is say, that's it. I'm not talking. I'm not negotiating. I'm not moving. I am here until the last game of the season for the Rebels. That's it. But he didn't do it because he's a coward, because he's greedy, because he is the inherent liar. And he knew that that would be cutting off his nose to spite his face, and it would stop a huge payday, which he knew was coming his way. Still, I can't figure it out why everybody thinks this guy is a deity in coaching, but that's a story for another day. There has got to be a hard and fast rule that once that season begins, here's the date, cutoff. If you want to leave, go ahead, leave. But you can't negotiate, you can't sign another contract until the season is over. And here's another one. If the team fires you, let's say, okay, Ole Miss comes in and fires Lane Kiffin. Go ahead. You can then go do whatever you want. You can negotiate with anybody you want. You can become a high school coach. You can go talk to the NFL. Do whatever you want. Just get out of our face. That's on the team. That's on the program. That's on the university. But otherwise, you can't have this nonsense going on of negotiating contracts, because it's all a fraud. It all destroys somebody down the line. And in this case, it may have destroyed Ole Miss. Though I got to tell you, give Ole Miss credit. They were ready with a replacement. They have a full-time coach. And these are kids and players right now. I call them kids. These are players right now who know what's in front of them. Get to the playoff for the first time ever, and a shot at a national championship for the first time ever. You guys have history on your side. That's brilliant. Go at it. Attack it. Go after it. But as far as Kiffin and all these coaches are concerned, no. No more consigliere. You can't negotiate. But the problem with it is you've got to have somebody who enforces the rules. And it can't just be the conference, because the conference can say whatever it wants, and another conference makes a different rule. You would have to have everybody on board. Every single college in every conference would have to sign on and say that's the case. Do you really think they're all going to do it? Come on, be real. But that's the first step. It would stop what happened in its tracks. Of course, coaches can try to get fired then. Go ahead. Fine. But once you get fired, you're off the... Once you leave... See, there's the next stage of all this. If a coach decides in the middle of a season or before the end of the season that he's leaving, no money, none, zero, nada, no buyout, no extras, no nothing. Coach A, you want to leave? Go ahead. Here, we're going to offer you a contract. You still want to go? Go ahead. Zero. Payments are cut off. No buyout, no extras, no nothing. And that's the other thing, too. They got to stop with this ridiculous buyout. If a school fires you for cause, that's one thing. But if they fire you because you didn't win, or they fire you for some other reason, look, you're going to negotiate a buyout. Stick with it, LSU, who tried to weasel your way out of paying the money to Coach Kelly because you didn't want to pay him the money, even though you've got billions stuck away in your swamp. Come on. Pay the guy what he's owed. You signed it. You cut the deal. So you've got to keep the contracts absolutely solid in what you do. You leave, you're out. We fire you, we pay you. And then we move on. Am I spitting Swahili? I mean, is it that difficult to understand? It's not. But again, you don't have anybody in charge. You have nobody running the show here. You've got college presidents, you've got university presidents, you've got athletic directors, you've got heads of conferences, and the NCAA sits there and goes, oh, okay, you guys go ahead. You guys go ahead. What power do they have? Even if they get involved with any kind of power that they have, somebody's going to take it to the courts. NCAA is a paper tiger, has been for a long time. Maybe it's good for the sport, maybe not. Second thing that everybody has to understand. Players hold all the cards. Okay? What's a big part of the game? The players. And now, with Kiffin going to LSU, some of their top recruits, verbal recruits, are pulling pause because they're not so sure they want to play for this guy. They're not sure. Who's going to be the coaches? Am I going to get the one that I agreed to? I said I was going to come to your school, but under these circumstances. Now you changed them. You fired your coach, you brought in somebody new. Do I want to play for a liar? A guy who really hasn't done anything? Who's won 2 bowl games out of 4? And who maybe is going to take us to the promised land? I don't know. But the players have all the control. They hold all the cards because they're paid. And that's what you have to do. If you're going to create contracts for players and you're going to pay them, then you have to pay them like employees. You have to put them under contract. Okay? You want to come to our school? Here's the contract. We'll pay you. Here's your portal money. Here's your NIL money. Here's everything else that you can go ahead and have. That's fine. Take it. But we own you. Okay? I know people are going to scream antitrust laws and they're going to scream a whole lot more. Because that's why you need a players' union in college football. Somebody to protect the players instead of somebody coming in and saying, we own you. If you've got a union that has a collective bargaining agreement, well, then you know what you're going to get paid. You know what your rights are. College football players have no rights now. Schools can blow them out at will, but so can the players. That's got to stop. One way or another. And again, I'm not the one to tell you the end way to do this. I'm just saying it's got to end sooner or later. Because you've got players reneging on deals, you've got coaches reneging on deals, you've got schools reneging on deals. And what you're doing is it's this mad dash to get to the point where we're trying to buy up as many players and as many coaches as we can, and that creates chaos. And that's got to stop. That's a problem of college football. They have to change that. And the last thing that college football has got to change. Scheduling. Let's talk. Right now, as we head into the playoff system, you've got teams like Miami screaming that we played a tougher schedule when you didn't. We've got other teams screaming we played a tough schedule when you did. But you got everybody now saying, and it's like Miami says, we beat Notre Dame. We should be above them right now in the rankings. Yeah, but Notre Dame played a tougher schedule. You didn't. And some schools are going to come out and say, well, I'll tell you what, and you've heard this from some of the coaches too, we're just going to stop scheduling really great teams because they don't get us anywhere. We'll just play the little sisters of the poor and we'll go ahead and rack up more wins. Just like it used to be in college football when teams like Nebraska, Oklahoma, the big guns way back when, they used to go ahead and play 2 or 3 good teams during the year and the rest were all gimmies. And you've still got a lot of gimmies being played. No more playing Division II, Division III. No more playing these games just for a buck. Because you'll have one school that'll say, well, we took the game even though we're 150 teams less than the one we're playing because we need the money. They're helping our athletic program. Bullshit! That's not how you create scheduling regularity and some kind of parity in order to move this forward. The scheduling has to change. College football has to get rid of the weak sisters of the poor, stop playing these useless games that just pad a schedule, and maybe even think about something along the lines of relegation, like they do in soccer in Europe. Why not? You have a season, you play a good season. You then get relegated upward where you have to then play the next season with tougher teams. If you go down, you play less teams to be able to build yourself up. I had this years ago. I had this discussion years ago with friends of mine in the NCAA. I said create an A, B, C, and D division based on the number of wins that you get at the end of the year. And you've got to play in those wins. You've got to play either in your category or the one just below it. You can't play, if you're an A, you can't play the C's or the D's. If you're the D's and the C's, you can't play the A's. You got to play the ones just above you in order to get better. Make your record better. Relegation. Move them down. Why not? And I know that right now there's college football purists out there. I can see a couple of my great friends going, Ed, you're crazy. That's insane. Why? What's wrong with it? If we are now moving into an era where we have the college football playoffs and everybody is complaining that we need to play a certain amount of teams with certain wins, then make sure they do. Stop these 10-year contracts for games to where you have to set a schedule every year. Shock. Just like the NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Soccer, all of them. Major League Baseball. Schedules laid out in front of you. There's nothing that's set. You find out at the end of the year what you deserve to play. That's the only way to do it. I can't see another way. Because maybe then Miami would have played a lot tougher teams. Maybe then Notre Dame would have played different teams. Maybe then Ole Miss would have played a tougher schedule. Maybe LSU would have played an easier schedule. Whatever it is. But somebody, damn it, somebody's got to be in charge in college football. Somebody has got to be in charge of these things, and the schedule has got to be there. You have got to be in charge of that schedule. And that schedule has got to be made every year. You cannot have long-term deals. I don't care. And look, the networks are the biggest thing too. The TV networks will be behind you because they'll be getting competitive games. They'll be getting really competitive games. Ratings will go up. Sponsor dollars will go up. Everybody will make more money. And gee, isn't that what we're in this for? To make more money? It's a simple deal. It's not that difficult. But college football has got to deal with coaches who leave, players who hold them hostage, and schedules that suck. Because that's where you are now. This is not the college football of 1970 or 1980. This is not even the college football of 2010. This is the college football of the mid-2020s moving into the 2030s. You're a pro league now. Stop thinking anything else. You're not amateur. You're not semi-pro. You're not college. You're pro. You're paying the players. And the money that's involved, they should get paid. That's a story for another day as to how you do all that. But college football is a mess, an absolute mess. And it's people like Lane Kiffin that make it a mess. And people like LSU who make a mess of their coaching system and their coaching staff and basically piss all over the players because the players, as I've said before, are the last thing they worry about. Better start being the first because those players are your game. They're your product. They're the ones that win the games. They're the ones that help make you billions of dollars. And sooner or later, there's going to be a players' union. And then watch the chaos reach an entirely new level.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.